Hello, everybody. This is the Hollywood Rabbi. I am somewhere in an underground parking lot in Hollywood, California, and I'm here to bring you this week's Torah portion, and it's called Vayechi. Vayechi means "and he lived," and it talks about the final days of Jacob and the reunification of Jacob's family. This week's Torah portion marks the end of Genesis. Now, a lot of people associate the book of Genesis with the creation of the world. However, there's only one Torah portion dedicated to the creation of the world, yet there's 11 Torah portions dedicated to family relationships. And if you've been studying along, you'll know that there was quite a lot of dysfunctions in family life, dating back to the sibling rivalry of Cain and Abel, and continuing on into the issues of favoritism in Abraham's family when he had to choose between his two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. And then we continue on with the intense sibling rivalry that almost ended in homicide between Jacob and his brother Esau. And then we spent several Torah portions talking about Joseph and his brothers and the story that began with jealousy and favoritism, and it led to 22 years of misery as he spent time in prison and as a slave. This week's Torah portion, Jacob is not very strong anymore, and he gathers his sons together and he gives them their final blessings, and in some cases some reprimand for some of the brothers who behaved in a way that he was not very proud of. Manasseh and Ephraim were the children of Joseph, and they were actually blessed by Jacob. This is a grandfather giving his grandchildren the blessing, and he told Joseph, he said, I hadn't never hoped to see you again, and now I have the good merit of seeing my grandchildren, my children's children. He tells Manasseh and Ephraim, his grandchildren, that they will be a blessing unto the people of Israel. Now, they were really one of the only blessings in the Bible about grandchildren. Why were these two children so important? Why were they singled out as being a blessing? And on every Friday night, it's a tradition for parents to bless their children, say, may you be like Manasseh and Ephraim. We start Shabbat with this blessing. The first two Jewish children that were born out of the land of Canaan, out of the land of Israel. And they lived in the diaspora, and they had a lot of temptations and distractions, but they kept loyal to their faith in God, and they kept in the tradition of their family. So these children became a role model for all people living in diaspora, that they would keep their faith and their loyalty to their family traditions. Shabbat service ends with Urei Vanim. May you be blessed to see your grandchildren and live in peace. And what's the connection between grandchildren and peace? People who are interested in their grandchildren care about the future. Someone who cares about the future cares about peace. People who are warlike hold on to the past. They think about grudges, they think about revenge, they think about slights they had earlier in life. And this particular Torah portion talks all about family. And it's a template for how to unite a divided family. And when Jacob finally passed away, the brothers were getting really nervous that Joseph was going to take revenge on them. And he told them he said, "No, I am not going to take revenge on you." He said, "What you did to me was very bad, but it ended up in a good way because he was able to save millions of people's lives by interpreting the dreams of the king and saving up grain." So he ended up helping his family, saving his family, and helping that whole Near Eastern region during their 7 years of famine because he had saved up so much grains in the storage during the time of plenty. Family life, you have to learn to pick your battles. And in such an extreme example of the horrible things that was done to Joseph, he had every right to take revenge on his brothers, and I don't think anybody would have had a problem with Joseph taking revenge against his brothers. In recap, this week's Torah portion is all about reuniting a family and the importance of family and the importance of reversing all the negative actions that have been taking place in the past, like sibling rivalry and revenge, and deciding that it was more important to have family unity than it was to be right about something. And if Joseph could forgive his brothers for the terrible things they did, how much more so should we go out of our way to make amends with our relatives? The family is the blueprint and foundation for world peace. If there can't be peace in a family, there's little chance that there could be peace in the world. That is the workshop where children learn to air out their differences and their struggles and their challenges and learn to live together and work together. Joseph was a uniter, not a divider. It showed that Joseph had an allegiance to his family. We are very inspired by this week's Torah portion and Joseph's ability to be a game changer, to reverse the patterns that had been going on for generation to generation, to stand up and say, "This will stop today with me." Was able to reverse the negative effects of sibling rivalry and family revenge. He became an agent of change, and the people of Israel were beginning the healing process and became a nation at that time. Remember, when we care enough about our grandchildren, we care about the future and we care about peace. And may we all be inspired by the great character traits that Joseph had. And indeed, it is hard to keep a good man down. Thank you so much for watching. Have a Shabbat Shalom and a wonderful weekend. And I wish you all many blessings for the week to come. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.